Yeah, he looks. I think if you look at like different the comparison, and even in videos for you, like there is a difference. I think it's really good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the start of the year, it's been a lot. Lost a lot.
Yeah, you asshole.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but I weigh more than you.
So what?
There's more to lose.
There's more.
He's losing more.
It's always a competition. I love it. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this again. Now I think we're non-crashed anymore, which I think is good.
That's good.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 112. We definitely didn't record for 10 minutes, and everything crashed on us and lose all the footage. That definitely, why would that happen? We run a very tight professional ship here at GGP headquarters, PTY Ltd, co-limited, publicly traded company. For those that aren't aware or weren't listening to the first 10 minutes, I mean, you guys suck. But I'm here with the usual suspect, Broseph, Toadski. Chris is in the background as well. As we mentioned, Flame, he got a booty call late tonight, so he's not going to be here today. And Knight is still stuck in the Sahara Desert, as far as we're aware. So that's us as a group here today. Without further ado, though, what's been cracking? What's been happening? How's life for you guys?
We vibing. Yeah, we just came back from having some frozen custard, which was kind of nice. And yeah, and we're here to talk about some One Piece treasure cruise.
We love that. We love that indeed.
Some
treckle, some may say.
Some treckle, yes.
I love calling it a little bit of treckle. Look, I'm gonna keep it honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck with everyone. We talked about the bounty ranking reward stuff for like 5 minutes there. And I think it was a really good discussion. I don't want to repeat that because I feel like we've been there, done that. But the TLDR is we think it's a good thing. Obviously, it's free legends. Like it's always going to be a positive to say the least, but there's obviously that caveat of it really depends on what the pools actually contain, as that's going to be the kind of deciding factor to everything, more or less, you know, for the most part there. But without further ado, back into the section we just cut off though, the randomly released specially available Pirate Rumble Sugo. Like this was crazy in my opinion, because it came out of the blue, like out of nowhere, and it lasted for like a week, which I think which is very unique for banners these days, where it was only out for a week then it disappeared. And I wonder if it was done in such a way that allowed for like the whole like lining up with 10th anniversary. I think maybe that was like the kind of cause of it. But I mean, how did you guys pull in this banner? How did you guys feel about it? Like, where were your heads at, I suppose?
Yeah, I already had done some pulls for the S-Hawk when it came out, so I was like, yeah, I'm not pulling on this other Pirate Rumble banner, but Carissa ended up doing some pulls, so why don't you tell them how it went?
We did like 5 or 6 multis on this the special Pirate Rumble banner that was supposed to have all these Rumble units on it.
It's supposed to.
It was supposed to.
It was complete trash.
Yeah,
I
feel that.
2 reds and
yep,
like
me too.
My first multi, and they were both Eva. They were both Rumble Eva.
Was it at least new, or was one of them?
Yeah.
New? Okay.
New, but
okay.
Rumble Eva,
Okay. At least it's new. We take it double we can at this point, right?
And then it was all downhill from there.
We love that. No, I feel.
5 multis.
I know. I feel.
Get any normal Rumble units?
Anything new at least?
I think I got the smoker, but I had already used posters to max out my
Rumble smoker.
Oh,
that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah. Because I don't pull on Rumble banners, so I was like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And so then I got that one, and I think I got another King.
King Dupes is always going to be good. King Dupes is always based.
Well, I also used posters.
Oh, come on.
It was just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
It was just not, and I'm missing so many Rumble units.
That was my problem. I had the exact same situation. For example, on that banner, I'm missing Urogue. So before I pulled, I was missing Urogue, Smoothie, Garp, Page 1, Apu, Eva, Kawamatsu, and then Raizu Shinobu. And I did 5.
I'm missing all of that plus Kizaru.
like, and I did 5 multis as well, and I got jack shit for the first like 4, right? I think I got Shiki on the 3rd multi. I think it was like the Pyro Rumble Rare Recruit Shiki. I'm like, oh, that's
not terrible.
I'm like, that's good.
Oh, I got that Usopp.
Oh yeah, you got that purple Usopp.
Oh, that purple, that random ass cerebral Usopp when the whole thing was shooter, or what was it? Something like that when he came out. And then thankfully the stars aligned, and on the 5th multi I got Smoothie and Blue Jam. So I was like, okay, I can build that quick driven slasher team now. So that team's running rampant in Rumble as we speak. But
nice.
I love that they did this as an idea for a Sugofest. I think that these very impromptu, like, whilst, I mean, we generally, I guess for lack of a better word, complain about how many Sugofests release and that kind of stuff. Whilst, like, I'm against them releasing a trillion Sugofests, I'm not really, I'm kind of for the idea of having Sugofests kind of like this release for like a couple of days, where it's like, okay, we're gonna put,
it's kind of like a catch-up Sugo, like,
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Pick up stuff that you may have missed in the past or something.
Fake news.
You can try to.
I mean, you can try to. I mean, obviously, like, we're only a very minute subset of it. But I mean, I heard a lot of other very positive stories of people picking up Rise of Shinobu's, Kawamatsu's, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, especially because like these legends are now all 20 cost in Rumble. Like on the strength team, if you want to put on your bench like a Kuma's just going to come in and sweep. Like, he does so much damn damage. And it's only a 20 cost unit as well, which is just incredible, right? So it's like,
yeah.
And I mean, like, a lot of the boosted rare recruits are good. To be fair as well, like, the other legends on the banner weren't actually that bad in terms of their Rumble prowess as well. So it's like, you had a very, very good assortment of characters for people to catch up to Rumble banner, which I think is a really, really good idea. I think that, like, having these is like potentially Kazuna, like, oh my god, imagine the Kazuna one or whatever it is, you know, having just all the Kazuna legends available to pull would be incredible, to say the least, you know. Same as TM, of course, you know. We'll chat about it a little later.
They kind of did that with,
with Legend Atlas release, right? So I think it's a positive. I think it's a cool little banner. It only lasted for a week, so it was very much just like you're either pulling on the banner or you're not. That's just what it is. And I think that's really, really cool there.
Kind of interesting as well, just with the Pyro Rumble units, because how all of them are now 20 cost. Like, that's what adds a lot of value to that banner. Because if we didn't have that update, this banner, I mean, yeah, it would entice some people for sure. But the fact that these Rumble units have just become infinitely more valuable now is another draw factor. And it is interesting though, because out of all the Rumble units, that green Kizaru still is not updated yet. He's still 55 costs or 40 costs, whatever the fuck he is. Surely
he's lining up for a little something in the future. Like, so it has to be, right? Some sort of anniversary.
They're planning for a Super Evo or something.
It would be cool though, because he would be the first like game mode character to get a Super Evolution, as far as I'm aware.
I believe so, yeah.
So like that, I mean, like at least it kind of like open the doors.
That would not have been my pick.
I know. It should have been Enel during Fearsome Foes, in my opinion. But hey, who am I to judge, right? All right. The meat and taters, I think, of today's episode. 'Cause everything else is just characters, and we're gonna do the old quick strat for characters from now on, because we don't need to read these fucking theses of character things. But the OPTC team has released a letter for March. Or was it for March? Yeah, 25th of March this came out. Are you all enjoying the current Worldwide Anniversary campaign? Would like to take the chance and thank you for participating in World. So this happened during the end of Part 1 and Part 2 of World Cruise, pretty much. And then weirdly enough, they teased the Fearsome Foe characters on the letter, which I thought was really cool. So they kind of made mention of the Fearsome Foes campaign is going to continue starting the 27th of March, where we're going to release 2 new legends, being Doflamingo Sugar Moria Perona, which everyone kind of speculated, like, are these going to be, is Fearsome Foes continuing the whole idea of Worldwide Annie? There's going to be anniversary units. What's the play here? But they ended up just being, you know, end of month legends, which is, I mean, better for a lot of people at this point in time. But it is the second side of the letter here that is kind of the interesting part. Upcoming schedule. Plus, as you may know, April 1st will be Usopp's birthday, and we've got a special Sugofest event planned for that very day. It'll be available for a limited time, so don't miss out. Also, the end of April, we're planning a large-scale update as we approach the game's 10th anniversary. The update is set to feature the previously announced co-op quest, which we've been fine-tuning based on player feedback. The Grand Feast Sugofest feature is related to these co-op quests and is also slated for release. Instead of rainbow gems, this new version of the Sugofest will let you use items obtained from co-op quests, which can then score you new characters. And by popular demand, we plan on adding more characters as well. Scheduled details and more information on a large-scale update featuring the Grand Feast Sugofest will be revealed in the OPTC letter in late April. Be sure to check it out. 10th anniversary is coming up. The game has made it this far thanks to the amazing players. Blah 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 blah. Ass kissing. All right, there's a lot to unpack from that. First of all, we did have the April Fool's Day stuff. Haha, very funny. We got the
Luffy.
I forgot to get Luffy.
You forgot? You can buy from the PK shop. It's fine. They've saved your graces there.
But I did my April Fool's multi, which is the worst part.
See that's great. I almost missed. I think I had like 3 hours left on the quest when I did it. I was like, oh shit, I gotta do this. So we had the banner. It was a Kaku banner, which is very funny. Ended up being a extended red Usopp, which gives me so many questions of like, if they're able to program extended posters for certain units, why haven't they made that a very consistent thing for new legends or whatever it is, right? Like, it's still very haphazard in that kind of regard, but that's me just nitpicking. We also did have the April Fool's Day Usopp as well. Not Usopp, the April Fool's Day Luffy like quest and stuff, where we got the old version of Luffy. I believe it was mentioned that he's gonna super evolve or something like that, and I think the assumption is that in the next PK,
the old Luffy is so the old Luffy was just the April Fool's one, but then they said that like in the quest you get to play as the young Luffy, and they said that young Luffy will be available in the future and will super evolve in May. So as you said, it makes sense for it to be the new PK unit
for sure. Which is interesting then, because what does that leave for anniversary if it's in May? Like, will we get a super evolved PK Luffy and then get a Luffy Legend?
Yeah, they've done that before. We've had a TM Luffy as like the free to play unit, and then like we get a Luffy for anniversary. They have done it before.
Right. It's very weird though. I don't know.
The fact that Luffy's going to be the PKA unit, I would guess that the end of month batch is probably going to be Rob Lucci.
Ooh, all right. We'll leave that for the end of the episode. We'll do our our 10th Annie predictions and stuff too. All right, that's the April Fool's Day stuff. At the end of April, we are planning a large-scale update as we approach the game's 10th anniversary. That's a big portion. Now, what does large-scale update mean at this point, though, right?
Well, we know right before Annie's, whenever they bring those big updates.
The big updates, the big new content, the quality of life stuff as well. But obviously, we know about co-op quests. But what if there's anything left there's probably heaps of stuff obviously left for quality of life updates, but is there anything that comes to mind immediately in terms of what you'd want or what you'd expect from like a quality of life update or like a major update going forward?
I would really like it when I play Treasure Map that my cotton candy doesn't go into my box.
I don't know if they'd fix that.
They still haven't fixed that. That is hilarious. The fact that there's like always 30 candy at the end of Treasure Map that's just like sat there in your box.
It is annoying.
Like, what the hell?
I would really appreciate it. They've done it for everything else. Why can't that go into?
It's true. It's very, very true.
I mean, I would be willing to give up all quality of life to make sure that Co-op Quest is actually good.
I agree. I think Co-op Quest is going to be so interesting because we don't know that much about it. All we know is that it's going to be 2 players clearing a quest. I remember you mentioning that, like, in their post, they talked about, like, you're going to build your own teams or something like that, too.
You did say that, yep.
Which is, I'm really scared for that kind of portion of it, right? Like, having to build your own team to clear a quest, it's like, how do you trust the person you're playing with to also have, like, the right units. Like, you can't match with people unless like you time it, I suppose. Like, you jump in at the same time. Like,
we did that.
Yeah.
My co-op originally, I made Todd clicked it at the exact same time, and majority of the time we got paired up together. Twice where we did it, so we left, did it, got paired together.
Yeah, but we did it during the time where basically no one was playing.
Yeah.
It was like this was like at least a month after the event was already out.
Yeah.
So like by that time, no one was really playing it. So we were able to try it, and yeah, we got it to work. But yeah, you're right. Like there's a lot of things that need to be put in place to make sure that Co-op Quest works right. And I think we've already talked about it on the podcast before. But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. It's something new, something refreshing. I just hope that the rewards are good, and it looks like it's going to tie into this new Grand Feast Sugo.
I was going to say, which leads us into this Grand Feast Sugofest. What's going on there? Like, what's your initial impression with that?
So, from what I gather, it looks like you play the Co-op Quest, and then you earn an item which you can use to then pull on this game mode specific Sugofest.
Yes.
I would think that it's going to be brand new characters that are specific to this. And it does mention on the logo, it says Grand Feast Sugofest Spring. So potentially these Sugofest are going to be out for
seasonal,
maybe a couple months at a time.
Yeah.
And then like you've got a set month period to get these new units. I would hope that, you know, if you just play throughout all of this month period or however long period, that you would acquire enough material to just get the unit, you know, guaranteed.
For sure.
We'll see. I hope it's not like super RNG where like you can just walk away from this event without
and
getting
not get the unit. Yeah. I think.
And yeah, we'll see.
I think like, so my desire, which won't be the case, is that this is their opportunity to move old characters off of the current Sugofest banner and put them on this banner. And
that's good quality of life right there.
I think that's the opportunity. Like, this is the opportunity to do so, because having Co-op Quest become the game mode that revolves around, like, my entire thesis for what I think Co-op Quest should be is you do the quest, you get rewards. You then go and pull on the Sugofest banner to acquire the co-op characters, or whatever they decide to call them, and they're guaranteed after X amount of pulls, or you can get them earlier or later, kind of like pulling on the Kizuna boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you get what you want, either have the option to switch the banner to be everything, or once you pull everything on the Sugofest, or you max out the amount of pulls that you can do on the Sugofest, you then have the option to switch the banner. Or I think like a few of the boys were mentioning that like Dokkan does something similar, where like they have like two banners, or like the world tourney banners or something like that, or I think it was like something along those lines. Like they have like
yeah,
where they have like two banners, and one banner's for something, but then another banner has other stuff on it. Like even doing something like in that kind of capacity, where you have the Grand Feast Sugofest Spring has the all the new stuff, and that only can pull the new stuff, but then there's a perpetual Grand Feast Sugofest banner that just stays up, and every season that gets updated with new characters, but like old characters get put into that banner, and it removes it from the current Sugo pool. So it's kind of like, for example, in PKA you have a lot of adventure tickets now. If you've been playing, you know, like I think I have like over 1,000 now just sat there, which in hindsight, it's not a lot because the rewards are expensive, but I have a surplus now. And it's like, eventually with Co-op Quests, most likely players will have a surplus of rewards. And it would be a fantastic opportunity to say, okay, the first 20 legends no longer are pullable on regular Sugofest. They are only pullable on Grand Feast Sugofest. And your surplus rewards can be used to go and pull those characters. That benefits new players, that benefits returning players, that benefits long-term players in terms of level limit break. I think that would be the best way to do it. Will that happen? Probably not, but I think that's a good idea. I also think this is also a good opportunity to put items again, have limit break materials, have things like Kizuna potions, have that kind of stuff available, have gold tablets once this is their chance to also release more gold tablets. Once a season, one final tap, one rush, one tandem, bang, whatever the new one is that comes out in May, like, you know, have it available in this Sugofest. And so once a quarter, essentially at this point, you can get a new gold tablet, or you can get a gold tablet, which means at least players can start progressing their accounts a little more effectively.
Yeah, we'll see how it all goes. I'm excited to see what it's all about, and yeah, next Treasure Cruise podcast we'll have all the information in regards to what it may be. So it's going to be interesting to see what they plan on doing. And
for sure,
yeah, so I assume that, you know, whatever you get out of the co-op quest is relating to the Sugo, and hopefully the rewards are just ultimately worth it, you know, because when we got like the introduction of like Kizuna Clash, for example, and remember how like the first couple of units in Kizuna took like months and months to get maxed out.
5 months, yep.
And then by the time you got the unit maxed out, like you basically barely ever used
worthless. They're not worthless, sorry, but like
I hope it's not good. Like that. Like maybe the unit is very easy to get on the Sugo, and you're pulling for dupes for level limit break. Potentially.
Okay. I like that.
Be what it is.
I like that. I hope that means that like would you want co-op quest to kind of like refresh once a month, but then you're comfortable with the Sugofest refreshing once a season, I suppose? Or would you want them to line up? So it's like when the Sugofest is done, co-op quest kind of resets, or it gets a new fresh. Like, how would you want them to release it in terms of like, I guess in terms of the deadly words of the content cycle, I suppose.
The biggest issue, in terms of like a lot of the dead moments, are when it's like between PKA release and treasure map release. We have
right
like
now, pretty much.
Right now, like the early parts of months are really bad. There's not a lot going on. So if they could land that during that period, that'd be great. I know that they often do this period for the Pyre Rumble like championship exhibition series, but like leaving such a huge like 1 to 2 week period dedicated just to doing Pyre Rumble exhibition and championship, like, I mean, I don't do that personally. I'm not a person that ranks high in Rumble. I don't give a crap. I'm not spending my gems on that shit. But if they put this in there alongside it, I'd be pretty happy.
But see, even that like whole idea of like Rumble Championship and exhibition has changed now, because the championship only lasts like 3 days, or like it's like 3.5 days or whatever, right? So it's even less of a block that's kind of like air quotes taken up by Rumble itself. Like, I think like after I finished PKA, I like farmed Hime turtles for like 7 or 8 days, and then championship came up, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just play that now. I won't farm that. And then obviously we lead into the whole TM into Kizuna and to end blah 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 blah. But it's like there still is that massive block of time that they probably should utilize for co-op quests per month. But
yeah,
I mean, this is gonna be very interesting for sure.
I mean, even like another thing in terms of just the update in general, it'd be cool if we got just more updates for PKA, so there's like more reason to run it.
Yeah,
I feel.
For sure. Yeah, post
I know that they have done some updates where like once you reach 150, the chance of landing turtles is much higher, like from chest and stuff, and that's definitely nice. But I just, once you hit that 150 threshold and you've got all the generic rewards, it kind of just
I check out. I'm done.
Really feel like playing it. Yeah,
I'm checked out entirely. I think that there should be something where it's like once you hit 150, maybe they remove the stamina system. I don't know. Like, something like that. Because, like, right now, like, if you run the math, right? Like, it genuinely is more... at least, as far as I'm aware, I believe that it's more efficient to run Himes than it would be to do your PKA runs.
Like, you get faster to get Himes?
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, I think every...
by a mile, right?
Every Hime run, if you just purely from start to end of the quest, it's like... if you click auto, it's like 50 seconds pretty much per, and then you get three Himes, which is then equivalent to just over 1 mil XP. Like, doing an entire PKA run might be a couple minutes, and I don't know if you're generating, unless you drop like a rainbow Hime, like odds are you're not generating that much EXP in the long run. And then
what they should do is once you reach 150, they should make like all the tiles just rainbow chests,
and then exactly. No, I agree. Or just have make Super Cola more like up the rate of Super Cola by a crap ton.
Yeah, releasing all these ship upgrades and no cola bloody buff them.
We're almost done with ship upgrades, right? We're getting very
I think
close.
so. We haven't got many to go, and I mean that's another thing they should update is the quality of life for the ship upgrading system is they need to update
don't
that
get
in
me
some
started with
way.
that.
I feel like it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
For cola and berries, it's awful. They need more guaranteed like 5-star steps,
Yep.
or like make it so that you get to a point where you can lock one of your stats, so you're
That's what it should have
guaranteed
been
to
from the very
always
start.
save it.
It should have
Yeah,
been
100%.
from the very start. You know how you get like the 5 rolls and then there's like the column. Every column has like the different stat. You should be able to
Yeah.
select the ones that you want. Or if you like a lot of games that have this rolling system do is like if you lock in a stat, it stays there perpetually, but it makes the other rolls more expensive. But at least you can lock in a stat. You know, like a lot of people that get that first 5-star will just lock it in and then cop it more expensive and then roll further. And then at least in that,
even though it's more expensive, it's still like it's easier to get.
Absolutely. You should have been able to select because like the whole premise of like the maximum number is 150 cola. Oh, sorry, 100 plus 150 to the stats, right? You are never in our years alive, as long as this game lives, I'll put my money on it. We'll never see a 150, 150, 150 shit, period.
I've never even seen a 150 on any stat.
Exactly. Like, it is so rare. And the fact that not only do you have to roll 150 in one stat, you have to roll 150 in all 3. And then even before that, you have to roll 5-star in 3 stats, which is already almost, not impossible, but very, very difficult, very, very time consuming. Like, it's a very ignorant approach. It should have been like, if you roll a 5-star, you lock it in, and then you can pick what stats you want from the 5 rolls. You know, like just do it like that, where it's like, oh, I got, instead of getting 120 plus 124, I got a 1 plus 126. Let me upgrade my ship like that, you know? At least in that sense, there would be more benefit to go back and, on my hose ship, like, I'm going to go and spend some cola on it today to see if I can bump up those stat boosts as well. But we are definitely approaching the end of ship upgrades, I believe, which is really interesting in that regard too. I think I think Tony has mentioned that there's 46 ships have been upgraded so far in total, which surely means that we're almost out of ships, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of a good thing, because then, you know, once we get everything there, it's like, okay, well, now I can just start using my super cola to upgrade ships, because I'm not like stressing if like, oh, what if this one happens? What if this one happens? I think that's the only benefit of everything being everything being upgraded.
And like it's annoying too, because the ship upgrades like are a big deal. Like they add a lot of power.
They are. It's very true. Like it changes a lot of quests are sometimes gated behind the ship upgrade that you've selected.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only just damage. I mean, there's cooldown, then you got the utility. Like, it's just so much that goes into these ships and makes them so good that, yeah, I mean, getting them done is a big deal. But I mean, if you're like an early to mid game player,
don't even
you're
think
not gonna
about
get
it.
Them done.
Stack up your super cola, and then maybe if you hit like max cola, then okay, go and upgrade a ship, or go and like start trying to. But otherwise, just stack your super cola up. Wait for all the ships to be upgraded, and then like, you know, then someone like a Toadski or a Stump's going to release its ship tier list video, because all the ships will be upgraded. Then it's, okay, now you can go think about what to look at, what's the priority kind of listing of things. Yeah, that's the OPTC team letter, I suppose. I mean, look, it's obviously going to be another wait and see situation, but in theory, we should probably get another letter within the next like 10 to 12 days would be my guess, give or take, next 2 weeks at bare minimum, in terms of that final brush up.
Shouldn't be too far away, I would think.
Which is very exciting, because Annie is a month away from as we record this, just a few days less. So it's like, see how we go. All right, time to talk characters. Let's talk legends. How everyone's favorite part of the podcast. As we mentioned a little earlier, we had the release of 2 more Fearsome Foes, that being Doflamingo Sugar and Moria and Perona. I suppose we can start with Dolphin and Sugar here. I'm not reading them out. I think they're just going to consume everyone's mental capacity a bit too much. What's your overall thoughts on this character? How do you feel about them?
Wait, which one is it? Moria?
Sorry, Doflamingo and Sugar. Sorry.
Dofi and Sugar. Dofi and Sugar, when I first read both of the units, Dofi and Sugar were the ones that I didn't care that much about.
Yeah.
But after using them a bit in PK as a friend captain, I think they're actually pretty nice. I mean, it's very similar to Superclass Dofi. Having that ability to remove Special Bind as a captain, you can never disregard that. That's always going to be useful. I mean, good multipliers 6 times in their dual form. You know, they've got a bit of cooldown, a bit of HP damage reduction, a little bit of healing. I mean, they just kind of do a bit of everything generically. Nothing out of the ordinary aside from the special bind removal. And then they've got the really cool special, which is kind of similar to characters of the past, where they have the ability to do the overkill damage, which was very useful in the PKA. The barrier removal is really cool. Color affinity and the whole batch having this weird gimmick where like the more debuffs that are on the opponent, the more beneficial effects you get.
Yep.
I found that kind of interesting. And Dofi and Sugar's super switch is very good actually as well. So that's all well and good. Inflicting increased damage taken through immunity is never a bad thing.
No, for sure. I agree wholeheartedly. I think like in their special, I mean, 3 turns of barrier removal in its own regard is just like already a massive
that's
factor.
never bad.
You know?
Yeah.
The overkill mechanic's always really cool. Color affinities there. They have the whole increased damage taken. I think, do they have the weakened ability as well? Or is it just...
their special has weakened. Yep. But the weaken doesn't go through full immunity, but their super swap increased damage taken does go through immunity.
Which is kind of weird, but also kind of cool at the same time. They reduce the attack of enemies, which adds more debuffs, which I think, like, obviously the whole point of this is to align more to what Moria and Perona kind of do in terms of their captain ability. But I mean, they're actually like not that bad of a unit. I was very surprised.
They're not bad at all.
Very good that they're an end of month batch. Obviously, it kind of provides a lot of benefit there. How do you feel about them? Like, how do you feel about them on paper in Rumble?
In Rumble, I think honestly that both of these units are kind of
ass
in Rumble. Yeah,
they do have GP stuff, which I found kind of interesting as well. Like they buff. I mean, Doflamingo Sugar buff in, and then driven in cerebral, and then their burst is weird. 100% chance to inflict paralysis. Set level 7 speed down to all, and then level 2 dot damage to all for 30 seconds. It's just like
dot damage has never been good, and this character is not helping that. Like,
it's true.
If you want to make dot damage OP, like you got to give you got to give it to like all these really good units. They got to have good rumble abilities, and like the damage over time that a lot of characters inflict is like, oh, level 1, level 2, level 3. Like it's gonna be like dot damage like level 5 to even start to be actually relevant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why they give characters dot damage, because it kind of makes them dead on arrival, to be honest.
Pretty much. I think
yeah.
A really cool thing that they probably could start looking at doing is having like things where it's like, if the enemy has dot damage, deal 1x attack through defense, like that, you know?
That's a good idea.
Because then it starts making these like debuffs a lot more valuable. Because like right now, like obviously things like action bind, what's the other one? Like it's not special bind, but I'm just gonna call it special bind. And like paralysis, arguably paralysis is actually really good. Like surprisingly enough, like, you know. But like if you had mechanics where it was like, if the enemy's paralyzed, deal 1x attack in damage to all paralyzed enemies, or whatever it is. At least then you can start.
That's such a good idea, because they have conditional burst in normal games. So why not do conditional burst in Rumble? That's a really good idea.
Because then you can start building like synergistic teams. So it's like, oh, all right, let me build a dot damage team. So you're getting this perpetual damage going on. But then you have these other units where it's like, if the enemy has dot damage, I'm going to do a crap ton more damage, and you can have this nice little, like, it might break the norm from what currently exists in terms of, like, how Rumble teams are built, you know? And then these ideas of, like, these GP, like, a GP burst like this, it's like, okay, if you pop this at the start of the fight, one of your units might do more damage to somebody that has speed down, or has paralysis, or whatever it is, and it's just crap ton more damage there, but I don't know. Is there anything? I mean, like, I don't like. I don't know. Like, I feel like they could have done a lot more with this unit at the end of the day. I mean, like,
Yeah, at the end of the day, it just kind of feels like filler.
It's so filler. Like it's very, very filler centric, which I think is fine. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's perfectly normal and fine. But I mean, like,
we're not really going to talk about it here specifically, but the that rare recruit Hody Jones that they released is actually kind of spicy.
I think it's worth discussing then.
Like okay, I'll just briefly, because I've got it up here.
Yeah.
The unit just does like everything. I don't know why they decided to give this unit so much. So this rare recruit, regular 5-star ass rare recruit right here, reduces cooldown for Driven and Powerhouse by 2, and they resist it by 2 with their crewmate ability.
Nice.
And they also give switch effect -2 reduction. That's dope. They also do damage 150 times or attacking quick to all enemies, ignoring all defensive effects. That could be useful.
Yep.
So damage dealing special.
Yep.
Reduces all enemies' defense by 50% for 3 turns. It goes through all immunity.
Jesus Christ.
So a lot of the times, like, people say, oh, but it's only 50%. But a lot of the times, you're just using it to proc a conditional boost. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
And then they also do 150 times their attack in end of turn damage for 3 turns. So they get around resilience. Yep. They also give a 1.0 chain boost also for 3 turns. Yep. And a full board of matching slots for Driven Powerhouse.
Yeah, that's too much.
What the hell?
It's better than most legends.
It is better than a lot of legends.
Their support is also really good too. Like Lowski, like their support's actually quite good as well. Like it attaches to all Driven characters. Like it's not bad. Like it's actually really good.
Yeah, that's a Hody for the one time.
Should have been a legend. Should have been a legend. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Dude, it should have been a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, anything else on Doflamingo Sugar? Usually we talk about these things for ages, but I mean, like, there's not really much.
Yeah.
Not really
they don't do a whole lot. Like, it's very basic stuff what they do. Like, they're fine. They're not a bad unit. What would we rate them though?
I think they're just a very solid legend. I think it's like 7.5, right? Like it's a very, at least for me, I think it's maybe 7.5. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd give them at least a 7 because they're not terrible. Like this unit can beat a hell of a lot of content. Absolutely. Great synergy with other good units in the game. It's just they're not that exciting. They don't do anything game breaking. They're just super solid unit.
Absolutely right. I think that's about it. I think 7.5 from me. I think for sure for this character. We'll see. Maybe more. I mean, Int has gotten a crazy surge of units in the last period. I mean, Quick as well. Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah.
So many Quick and Int units have been releasing anyway. And, I mean, to continue on that train, you have the release of Moria Perona, which I think is the more funky of the two units here. Their captain ability is wild.
I think a lot of people are going to get caught up in their captain effect. I don't think their captain effect is that good.
I agree.
Because, like, it's not good. You're not going to use it all the time. Like, yeah, once in a blue moon, you could probably build some team that could apply a bunch of status effects to make them get almost a 6.6 times captain effect. Like, yeah. That's kind of freaking crazy. But you're just better to run a unit that actually does unique stuff as a captain.
It's true.
Rather than having a 0.5 extra multiplier on a captain.
It's very true. I think I think the interesting thing here is that what we noticed is that every resistance down debuff on the enemy counts as one
that's
one status effect. Yeah, I think Game With put out a post that mentioned that. So it's like support units like Queen that apply 5, like all colors, instant you get like 5 you get like the 5 that count, and then like even units like Vivi that apply 3 of them are really, really good as well. So like you can really easily get that maximum cast ability. But you are right though, like if you're building the team to get to that level of gimmick, it's like surely there's an element of like maybe sacrificing something to get there. But it's like, is that higher attack boost really going to benefit you in the long run as opposed to building a more well-rounded team? It's kind of the question you have to resolve in your mind. But maybe for team builders this is like a paradise, right? Because in theory, like if you run like, let's say this unit plus Doflamingo and Sugar, you're probably getting pretty close to the 7 debuffs would be my guess. Like pretty close there as well. Because you're getting the attack down, you're getting the increased damage taken, you're getting the weakened, you're getting the defense down. I guess if you're running a Holy Rare Recruit, you might get the defense down, and then this unit probably also applies stuff as well. paralysis might count for that too. I don't know. So like you can definitely get towards that status effects thing quite easily, but it's like, I don't know. Like, you know, what is they do bring back negative, which is kind of dope. I love that for them. Their swap brings back negative, and then again their swap also applies 2 more resistances as well. So it's like you can do it, but it's kind of funky in that same regard too. Again, like, very straight, like not straightforward, sorry, but just very filler. Very filler legend, to say the least.
It's very skippable is the word.
Incredibly skippable. Like, if there was no reason for you to pull in these units or these banners at all. I don't see a world where like any normal player would need to do that at all. Especially like these units releasing at the end of March, knowing that 10th Annie's right around the corner, and most likely these units will be on at least part 1 of the anniversary banners as well. It's like, you don't need these characters. These characters aren't going to change the world for you. Is there anything interesting with Moria and Perona that we haven't kind of covered?
Moria and Perona, I think a lot of people are underrating this unit for a couple of different reasons.
Go for it.
So, yeah, the captain effect is like whatever. Like I don't give a shit about that. The super switch is really nice. Inflicting negative to just get like basically just additional damage is nice. And resistance down. Don't forget about that resistance down. That's really good.
Yep.
But this character's got a really nice special that it's a damage dealing special, so we like that. Attack boosting special, which is good. I'll get back to that in a moment. But then also reducing bind and burn, so utility as well. Also boosting damage against increased damage taken or negative status for 1 turn, so that's dope. And can also paralyze enemies.
That's a massive boost, by the way. Jesus Christ. 2.5 extra conditionals.
Big attack boost and a 2.5 conditional. But the big thing about this is the synergy with cross guild, dude.
Yes, true.
Cross guild can do all boost and the chain boundary, and they give the set target status, which is like a pseudo increased damage taken for driven.
Yep.
And then you have all the resistance as well that cross guild can do. This character can do resistance, and this character does an attack boost, which works well with cross guild, who do the orb boost. This character does conditional boost, which cross guild doesn't do. And another thing is Perona is on the list of characters that are required to use the cross guild rush.
Yep, that's true. That's very, very true.
So this character is like a perfect combo with cross guild. I mean, Dofi technically is as well, because he does color affinity, which these characters don't all do. So good synergies across the board there, but there's just the pure synergy with these 2 characters is amazing.
Yeah.
So I think Cross Guild's honestly one of the best legends to release this year so far. I'm a big fan of it.
I'd agree. I think Cross Guild's fucking nuts. They're really, really good.
Such a good unit.
Absolutely right.
So yeah, I think Moria and Perona, I think they're pretty cool, but the captain ability lets them down. I just don't think it doesn't do enough.
It's gimmicky. It's very gimmicky. That's what it is. I feel like.
I mean, potentially if you build for like a super boss, like a mono quick driven super boss team, having a 6.5 captain, if you can get to it, would be pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
But
I actually don't remember what they do in their Rumble kit. I don't think it's that great.
Probably DOT.
Probably DOT. Driven cerebral boosting in their ability, and then they do level 7 attack down debuff, 2.5k fixed, level 7 attack down debuff, and then 2.5k HP. But that doesn't make any sense. Is this another Solaris mistake? Why would they inflict attack down to driven and cerebral characters? Are they not driven and cerebral? Yeah, they are. Interesting. Okay.
Wait, hang on. Wait. Are you reading the database?
I'm reading the database. Yeah.
Oh, I'm reading the subreddit new unit info at the moment, and it does not say that.
Okay, shout out Solaris. Every time, man. Every time he gets my ass. Okay, that's good. Someone put a bug report in as per normal, I suppose. But look, like again, I'm not. I don't know, like. I know that they're filler. I know. But at the same time, I'm also just like, do some hot shit, man. Like, do something cool.
I'm hoping that they're gonna have the hot shit for Annie, man. That's what we're waiting for.
I don't know. Let's leave. There's a lot to digest with that potential anniversary, so I think we'll leave that towards the end of the show. But all right, out of 10, I suppose, for Moria and Perona.
I'd just give them the same rate.
Yeah.
I think these characters will see like equal amounts of play, to be honest.
Which is 0.
Probably, let's be real.
I think that like maybe I do agree with you. I think that maybe like if Cross Guild is the best choice for a bit of content, then definitely Moria and Perona step up and become a very viable option. But at the same time, there are going to be other situations where you can fulfill those requirements regardless, which is par for the course. With having like 4,000 units in Trader Cruise, like there's always going to be someone that fulfills the role regardless, right? So, I'd agree. Same score. All right. I had PK, Lucci, and 5+ on the main topics, but I don't know if they really deserve their own time in the spotlight. But hopefully, you guys all kept 2 copies of Lucci. Just plain and simple.
I mean, they basically change color and they changed kind of like what they do in terms of like the quick version boost driven, the int one boost cerebral now as a captain, and the resistance down. So they kind of swap being from driven focus to cerebral, which is fine.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're a perfectly fine unit. And then when they super evolve, going from driven to cerebral, instead of chain locking, they do chain boundary instead. So that's kind of nice.
There we go.
So yeah.
All right. Do I really want to talk about S Shark? Do you really want to talk about S Shark?
S Shark is so mid.
Yeah.
Following.
Yeah, how do you follow S Hawk with that? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, what it really does is it sets a precedent that people are kind of expecting the next one to be like S Bear or S Snake as the next Rumble
Absolutely
legend, probably.
Right. That's more like that's kind of like more what I'm expecting now at this point. Like, look, to be honest with you, I think S Shark is fine. I think the unit is fine. I think that fighters just lack, I suppose. I don't know much. I'm not going to claim I know a lot about Pyro Rumble, but I feel like the fighters lack a lot, which in turn makes this unit like become probably the core of the fighter team. But now you need a lot of fighter support to kind of build it up, which I don't see us getting anytime soon, because Bandai seems to neglect fighter as a class pretty consistently for a lot of units.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, the kind of issue is as well is the fact that a lot of the good fighter characters are just kind of like focused on their like additional class, like whether it's like fighter powerhouse, they're just kind of just better for powerhouse, or they're like fighter free spirits, like, oh no, they're just better for free spirit.
I think
that's kind of the issue.
It's pretty like when you read him on paper, like Dex teammates defense up 7, targets fighter class teammates for attack up 7, targets self for attack up X3 counter stance for 30 seconds, provoke for 30 seconds, and level 3 shield for 30 seconds. So it's like he's a really strong like counter stance provoke unit, kind of like the Annie Zoro as well. But then even like in his Rumble resistances, he evading half stats is based. Like that's really good. Especially in the counter stance form, to evade half stats, so you maintaining that like high damage output if someone attacks you is like super beneficial.
It's literally like when I read it, it just kind of reminded me of Enmazor. Like it just felt like a Dex fighter Enmazor,
but it's just that like this unit gives the defensive buffs to Dex and then the attacking buffs to fighters. Like you get attack and speed to fighters, but you get HP and defense up to Dex, and it's like. I mean, actually, that's kind of crazy when taking damage up to 10 times self-attack up level 1. Like, you can really stack attack up on this unit. But again, it's the same idea of like, am I going to really use him on a Dex team, or am I going to use him on a fighter team? Probably more often than not, I'm going to run this guy on a Dex team.
Yeah.
Because the Dex team is really, really good and has a lot of benefit to it. So
exactly, exactly. That's the main problem with fighters is like, fighters. I mean, they have some interesting units, but they're just used in whatever other color they are or their other classes. They're just better in that because fighters just don't get support.
Like, what's the fighter team? It's like that V2 category. It's like a who's who. There's Garp. There's the Sanji Judge, I think, is on that team. Is that Powerhouse? I don't even know. Yeah, Donchin Jiao. Yeah, like it just. I mean, I guess if you started kind of combining like Donchin Jiao, Garp, and S Shark, you have a
You're
nice
just
like
making a powerhouse team.
you're making a powerhouse Dex team. You know, so it's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I think it's cool though, like that the precedent is kind of set now that all the Seraphims are going to kind of line up with Rumble units, which is kind of dope. But I mean, then again, it's more of a. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, what would you expect like S-Bear to be then?
I'm not too sure about S-Bear. I haven't thought about that, but I thought immediately for S-Snake should be like Psy-Free Spirit. Because you had like S-Hawk be Int Slasher. Like his Rumble ability was boosting Int, but also boost Slasher. You had this guy S-Shark being boosting Dex and boosting Fighter.
Yeah.
So I feel like S-Snake is probably gonna be Psy-Free Spirit would be my, or Strength
Surely,
Free Spirit maybe.
surely Shooter, right?
Shooter, yeah. I mean Shooter's
Unless
that could be
Kuma.
that could be
So
for
not
S-Bear.
Kuma, S-Bear, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So
I think
it's
mean,
interesting.
it's good. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice. I mean, at this point, like, because like rare recruits and legends are the same like cost, like even having these as rare recruits would have been a little better. But I mean, I guess that makes less money, I suppose, because like they're a rare recruit as opposed to a legend. I don't know, but yeah, we'll wait and see, you know. But I mean, it's cool. I think it's kind of dope. It's kind of dope.
Shark is just kind of disappointing, especially just coming off of S.
Hawk is just disgusting. Like, that unit should not exist. Like,
yeah, that unit is disgustingly overpowered.
Like, part of me wishes that I did more. I think I did like 8 multis, didn't get him, which is fine. But like, part of me is like, oh, maybe I should have done a lot more. But obviously, he'll return on banners in the future and etc. etc. And I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Just the quality of the unit alone is revolting, right? You can put him on any team. He's doing a crap ton of damage.
The fact that he's 20 costs, you can just chuck him on any team. And if you, because when I got him, I just went ahead and used posters. I got him max.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't limit break expand him because I'm running low on mats right now. But
yeah,
dude, like,
sure.
it is wild. When he launches his special, it's 99% of the time, it's like guaranteed to knock out 3 things.
I was gonna say he's killing something at bare minimum. He's killing something.
Bare minimum, like 100% of the time, you're killing at least one character.
Absolutely
at least.
Right. And like
just the crazy thing is on that Slasher team, if you get it to work perfectly, you can go ahead and use your Roger Whitebeard special.
Yep.
Like if you have like Sanji Zora with the haste mechanic, everyone goes to the top. Roger Whitebeard does the health cut and kills 2 units, and then S-Hawk goes, kills the other 3 units. You kill all the front line in 3 specials. It's busted as all hell.
Yep.
So good.
And then S-Shark's like, what's up?
And S-Shark just sits there and takes hits like a bitch.
What's up? What's up?
It's so bad.
I mean, yeah. I think
we'll see, because I feel like if they do S-Snake, she'll probably do like maybe confusion mechanics like the other Boa Hancock characters.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe like a busted confusion unit. That'd be so annoying.
Like 100% chance to confuse like in a small range or whatever it is.
And then potentially S-Bear. It could be similar to Kuma, like Rumble Kuma. Maybe he does damage through defense as well. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
That'd be sick. I think I'm down for that.
But for shooters, because shooters need good damage dealers, so I would love that for shooter teams, actually.
Yeah, that'd bring. I mean, and then obviously at the end of the day, like, we have the whole 10th anniversary batch, and guaranteed those units are gonna be all very, very broken in one way, shape, or form. So like, you know, I think the Rumble's gonna get a massive shake-up at some point soon. Something that got shaken up though was the TM banner, but then alongside the TM banner, we got a cheeky little TM Legend Atlas.
Oh yes, we did.
How do you feel about TM Legend Atlas?
I felt like she's very similar to Lilith in a lot of ways.
Stackable, new stackable
buffs. Yeah, we love that.
Stackable all boost this time around.
Yeah, it's really it's cool. I think you know, Lilith and Atlas, they're both really cool characters. I have Lilith. I pulled her on release, and I've used her quite a fair bit because of like other PKs where she's been boosted and stuff. And Lilith is really fun to use. She's a great character. I think Atlas will also be really good. And what it really feels like is they're kind of just setting us up for an eventual like full Vegapunk team.
Yeah, kind of like the Germa batch type B.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I feel like Vegapunk himself is probably going to be a Sugofest exclusive.
Absolutely.
Maybe a Super Sugofest exclusive at this point.
I would be shocked if he wasn't some sort of Annie. Like you know what they could do for 10th Annie? They could put him as an Annie exclusive character on that banner.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like an Odin Toki type beat, where he's an Annie exclusive, and then you obviously have the rest of the batch. But attack down and her captain ability, really good. Boost the slot boost as well. Further with that, which is stackable. The whole idea of the stackable orb boosting is now here. So now we have a stackable attack boost and a stackable orb boost, which provides a lot going forward as well.
And then I feel like so we don't have Shaka, the first Vegapunk, as a character yet, so that would make sense if he comes in as a stackable affinity unit. That would make sense.
Absolutely right.
And then you have like the so with all of these units, they have like the ability which says like if you have like a cerebral captain, whatever buff it is minus the multiplier, and then allows you to double stack it.
Yeah.
So I feel like because all these units also have the super class to then apply whatever buff it was to allow you to do the double stack.
Yep.
So it'd be kind of cool if you had like the actual Vegapunk person as a unit who could do captain switching, kind of like what Kobe does, where you can switch whatever unit you want to the captain.
That's a really good idea, actually. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. That's a sick idea. Actually, now I want that.
All of these buffs together.
Yeah. Like and at the end of like, you know, like for example, Atlas' special, if the crew has an attack up when the special is launched, further increases the attack boost by 0.5 and then boosts attack otherwise. Like, you know, so there's a lot of synergy with these characters where it's like, if you don't have this, I do this instead. And then if you do have this, I buff it. Like, you can get a lot of damage output with, especially like if they're all going to be like in cerebrals. And like and then potentially Vegapunk comes in and does that whole captain swapping mechanic as well. Like, the synergistic nature of all that kind of stuff is going to be really, really good, you know? And I mean, like...
It is a little weird, though, that they made both Lilith and Atlas final tap units.
That... See...
Considering what Lilith's final tap is, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, look, I agree with you.
Very weird. Yeah.
What's... Atlas's final tap is further boost the chain of the final tap by 2x. That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
Because if you get a high chain, if you get a rush involved somewhere, like, you know, your chain's going to go a lot higher, and then multiplying it by 2x is going to really, like, boost your damage output, right?
But, I mean, it's very similar to, like, Uta's final tap.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And, like, final tap Robin and stuff. Yeah, very similar.
Which I think is good. I think it's a better final tap than Lilith's one. But I do agree with you. I don't see a reason why both these units have final tap. Like, it just doesn't seem necessary for, like, at least give one of them tandem. I know, like, you know, as much as we complain about these really hard to get potential abilities, at least, like, I just don't like it. Just always reminds me of the Tobi Roppo, like, Who's Who, Sasaki, and Black Maria, where all three of them got super tandems, which in fairness, like, they were used within themselves, which is fine. But it's like having two units have final tap is just counterintuitive. Like, you know, it just cancel each other out. Like, there's no point in having two units have final tap.
Pretty much, yeah.
Support's really good. I think it's a fantastic support. That's an awesome support. In Cerebral as well, plenty of good units there. Rumble Kid, how do you feel about Rumble?
I really like what she does in Rumble. The real issue is like, does she have the supporting cast around her?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Because her whole kit is focused around, if you have Int and Cerebral characters on your team, then she does a crap load of damage. But if you just look at like Int Cerebral characters, and you got to remember that dual units don't count as Int.
Great
there are a lot of good like Int dual units that would have worked well with this unit, but unfortunately that is not the case. So if you're trying to run that, there's not a lot of options. I mean, if people immediately looked at Lilith, like, is Lilith actually good in Rumble to work with this unit? But if you actually read what Lilith does, she's kind of dog shit. I believe she's a damage over time unit. Yeah, she is. So just how we talked about how bad damage over time.
No, not dot damage.
So I mean, you've got characters like even like Int Uta is actually a really good Rumble unit still, so that is an option. But after you go that deep, it's running a little thin. There's not a lot of good options. So they need to provide us with some good units coming up soon.
For sure. And I think that we definitely could see that with the release of Shaka, with the release of actual Vegapunk as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
definitely opportunities to do that. But I mean, surely at that point, like, I think the biggest issue with Treasure Cruise at times is that, like, how long something stays in the meta is very up for grabs. Like, there will be some units, like, for example, like Quick Kaido and Rumble stuck around for a very long time, fell off a little bit, and then now he's like one of the most important units. Like, he's just a monster, right? But then other times a unit might be really, really good, and then you use them, and then you just find a replacement that's better, and then you never use that unit again. So like, the whole idea of like, I'm all for the whole idea of like trying to build some sort of like cerebral kind of team in Rumble, but if you don't provide the supports fast enough to build those kinds of teams, then there will be counters to those teams very, very quickly, like going forward as well. And I think that's always a concern. Otherwise though, like, I think it's a cool unit regardless. I think the whole idea of stacking, I'm very excited for. I'm very keen to see what other units get it going forward as well, and what kind of shenanigans people start to come up with in terms of all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, I think we mentioned it when we first talked about Lilith, but like, stackable buffs kind of just doubles your damage out, or just increases your damage output like immensely. If you can get like, for example, like, if you can get like a 2.75 attack boost, get the attack boost stacked, so then it becomes a 1.75 stackable attack boost, and then get a 2.75 attack boost, like, again, you basically just increase your damage output, like, let's say from 100 to like an increase of 75% because of the 1.75. So you're going from like 100 mil to 175 mil with one buff. And if you think about that on the grand scale of like, you're going to go from 500 bill to an increase of like 75% on that to like, and that'll jump up to like, you know, almost 900 bill with one buff, right? So like, stackable is going to be very, very broken the more units that end up getting those buffs. And I mean, we've got Attack and Orb. I think we got the download, like, I think Solaris data mined the color affinity, I think you mentioned as well, is meant to come at some point, but like, who knows what other buffs I mean, maybe they do stackable conditional buffs at some point too, like, you know,
we have that.
I mean, yeah, it's true, you have the two options, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
That's a great point. But, you know,
double stacking base attack, let's go.
Yeah, let's go from 2,000 to 3,000. Pog, yeah. Double stacking chain locks. What?
My favorite.
But yeah, we'll see how we go. Anything notable from the batch at all?
The rare recruits, they're fine, honestly. Like, they're not game breaking. They're not changing anything crazy. They're just okay.
I think in this regard, it would have been cool. I mean, I hate the idea of having a TM legend have super tandem, but it would have been cool if Atlas has super tandem, because you're releasing York and Pythagoras and Edison, so you could have ways to
you can actually do it.
Exactly, you know, add Luffy onto it, you know, maybe put Vegapunk on there and then have Vegapunk really, I don't know, like, you could definitely do something like that going forward. But I mean, that's what I think should have been the case. But I mean, out of 10 for Atlas, what are your thoughts?
I think that she is a little bit more usable than the two other characters we talked about with Dofi and Mori and stuff. I think this character will see more play because I think the special is just really neat and works really well with characters that are already established. And removing attack down as a captain is a bit more unique than the special bind removal. I feel like not too many characters remove attack down as a captain. And synergizing this with Lilith is going to be dope. And I just feel like they're just setting us up for a Shaka release. Probably Shaka's going to have a tandem or a rush. If not, Vegapunk himself will have tandem or rush.
Absolutely right.
Or maybe Shaka has final tap as well, and then you have a rush and a tandem with maybe it's like a combined thing where you can get rush and tandem with Vegapunk.
Don't say that out loud. Don't manifest that. Actually, that'd be good though if it was one potential ability. Put it in both of one.
Yeah, kind of like Kaido versus Yamato.
Yeah, like a versus thing. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I would not be opposed to that.
Make it easier.
We'll see. There's just so many different options that it could be.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Atlas is solid. It's a solid unit.
I'd rate it probably like an 8.
I
maybe
think
a little higher than 8.
because Atlas is a TM exclusive character, it kind of bumps the points down a little bit for me. Obviously,
True,
having
yeah.
it be harder to acquire for a lot of players. I mean, like, as far as I'm aware, I'm not pulling on this banner at all. I don't see a reason to. I mean,
Right.
I haven't looked at how's TM looking. I suppose, is it looking toxic?
I mean, if you have a friend captain, it's not going to be as bad.
Yeah. So,
The mini bosses look not too bad actually. The mini
Okay,
bosses
that's
look
positive.
pretty straightforward. Yeah, so that's not. I don't think that'll be an issue. It's just mainly the intrusion or the final
Yeah.
boss, like just really annoying gimmicks that that Atlas kind of gets around. Like she has the ability to get around the effect that the enemy can apply a buff where they take less damage from certain types of slots.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep.
Yeah, so Atlas can remove 6 turns of that. So she's like the only
Damn.
character in the game that can remove that.
That's good.
So that's pretty useful. Also removing like Rainbow Shield, and she also has the effect to make her own attacks bypass enemy defensive effects.
Right.
So that's
yeah.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, like potentially if you're running like the Vegapunk team eventually, if there is a situation where the enemy has all these defensive effects, you could just potentially not even worry about it and just use her as your only damage dealing unit. And I feel like if they're setting it up, this whole Vegapunk team to be int and cerebral, it would make sense if there is some type of way to make like one of your units, or if not your whole team, super effective against whatever color.
Yeah, it should be.
Or maybe Vegapunk can change everyone to a certain color or something.
Ooh. I mean, the possibilities are genuinely endless with the Vegapunk
Right.
unit, right? They could really do
Exactly.
anything they want with that kind of a unit. Like, the smartest man in the One Piece world, like, they could do whatever they wanted, you know. So I mean, he's gonna be the crux of the entire team at the end of the day, like regardless of whatever happens. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, one last thing to talk about. All right, let's break it down, Broseph. 10th Annie.
10th anniversary.
What's the predictions? What's the vibe? What do you think's gonna happen? What's gonna release? What are we gonna be disappointed about? What are we gonna be gassed about? What's your feel so far?
Wait, what'd you yell at, Carissa? Carissa, for some reason, thought that they're gonna release a new Robin or Dragon. I feel Dragon is a bit of a weird
Dragon might
choice.
be a stretch. I think we're gonna definitely get some sort of combination of the Straw Hats in Egghead form, like at least in Egghead outfits at some point.
Yeah,
whether that's
probably some more free-to-play Straw Hats.
whether
I
free to
wouldn't
play
be
Straw
surprised.
Hats or whether it's. I mean, as 10th anniversary, like surely it's the opportunity to like the size Straw Hats either all get 5+s or they re-release the size Straw Hats as int Straw Hats instead or something like that. Like I don't know, like, and they have a bunch of them. That'd be really cool. What about legends though? Do you think Lucci is an Annie legend, or do you think he's gonna be end of month?
I think Lucci will be end of month.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's what they'll do. And I feel like for 10th Annie, I had the theory that they're just probably going to make it like a new exclusive, like fun celebratory Luffy as like the mainline unit for the anniversary. But the more I think about it, I feel like they're probably just going to go down the route of, hey, it's anime related. Let's make a new Gear 5 Luffy, probably.
So Gear 5 Egghead Luffy is your prediction, I suppose.
I just feel like it's probably what they're going to do.
I think that, I mean, is Carissa in the room still?
She's in the bedroom right now. She's not here.
Okay.
But she can still hear what's going on.
I'm not gonna say too much in terms of spoiler stuff, but will we get to those certain moments by the time Annie rolls around? No? Okay, well then that kind of removes a lot of like...
Well, actually, it depends, because they could do a similar thing to what they did last year, where they had like, you know, it like the film Red Style Sugo, where they have a big banner, wait a week or two, another big banner.
They will do that 100%, right? So I guess it gives them time to release those kinds of units like later on down the track, right? But like, I feel like I wouldn't be disappointed if the first part of Annie was a Gear 5 Luffy. I wouldn't be disappointed, but I think that the issue with that is that Luffy has to be on par or better than the current Gear 5 Luffy we have.
And that's going to be very hard to do.
Exactly. That's a big challenge to because that's just not like regular content. That's like in Rumble, in Grand Party. There's a lot of elements that unit has to surpass the current Luffy, or at least the current Gear 5 Luffy itself. And but what would you release? Would you release like a Vegapunk Shaka and and Luffy?
Well, I feel like I have a feeling Shaka is just going to be the next Kizuna banner, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
actually, that's a good shout. I think Vegapunk gets released at some point in this 10th anniversary. I would be shocked.
Or if they're still doing Fearsome Foes, potentially they could just make Rob Lucci the Kizuna legend, and then the end of month be Shaka.
Yep, that's a really good shout too. Actually, to be honest with you, if Fearsome Foes, that's a really good shout too.
Yeah, Carissa yells out, "Can we get a new Stussy?" I'm sure we are definitely getting a new Stussy at some point. I can tell you that.
For a TM rare recruit, probably. Gonna be honest with you, some bullshit like that.
A legend sent to Maru? No, he got absolutely destroyed by Rob Lucci.
He
ain't getting shit. He could be a support rare recruit.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that. That'd be tight as hell. A support rare recruit would be sick. I don't know, because like if the anime is not going to be up to those really hype moments, I mean, is this their opportunity to release like a Law versus Blackbeard? Is this the opportunity to release like that kind of stuff?
Surely that ship has sailed, right?
I mean,
maybe.
It depends on where it's up to in the anime, I suppose, right? Like, where does will the anime show those fights? Like, who knows? I guess, and if they do, then I feel like the opportunity's there. But it's like a Law versus Black. I mean, maybe we get a Law because we have the Blackbeard. Like, I don't know. But then again, they did the funky thing where it's like the Jesus Burgess was from that fight, but then the Blackbeard was from the Boa Hancock situation. So it's like,
this makes no sense.
Do you make another Blackbeard? Like, surely not. Like, at this point.
That would not make any sense.
And you can't really make any. You wouldn't make any of the other guys in the crew legends because they all got rare recruits, I suppose, too. So it's like, what do you do there? I mean, maybe a Law, maybe, I don't know. Like, you know, and then obviously with the other fights and stuff too, like maybe you can make those arguments, but I mean, if they're not going to be shown in the anime, then chances are they're not going to make an appearance during anniversary. This anniversary feels very funky because it is the 10th annie. You're expecting something incredible, but knowing how Bandai have done releases in recent times, it's been very much aligning itself to, okay, what's happened in the anime recently and what can we draw from in that regard too. So, I don't know. I'm a bit concerned now that I think about it. Like, what's gonna be there? What's it gonna be about? What's this anniversary gonna like actually hold?
Yeah, like what's the theming of the anniversary at this point? Like, there's just we literally have no idea.
Like, I'm not gonna be mad if the theming is Egghead, but I would be kind of perturbed if it's just like, oh, it's Gear 5 Luffy. It's like, cool, like, but then at the same time, it's like, do they just kind of scrap the whole idea of it and then they release like 10th anniversary Luffy, like, you know, kind of like Log Luffy style, and they just
that's what I was expecting it to be.
I hope it's that. Then I hope it aligns to that kind of stuff where it's like you release like really really cracked Straw Hat legends or really really cracked like characters that are just. He's a random ass like Corazon or some shit, and it's like 10th anniversary Corazon or something like that, and he's really broken, you know, like in that kind of regard. I'd be super down for that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I guess it's a mixed bag. All right, if you had to pick one character that you wanted to see on anniversary, who would it be?
So if this is like not even maybe not the actual release of any, but if it's like, you know, a part 2 or a part 3,
just any character during the anniversary period, who would you want to genuinely see?
I mean, I've got my own thoughts, but it wouldn't make sense. Like, of course, I'd say Katakuri, but we're not getting a Katakuri for anniversary.
A 4th Katakuri is trash. Another L Katakuri.
That's just unfortunately what happened.
Yeah.
If we have to go thematically, or just for a big celebratory unit,
I guess so. Big celebratory unit. I mean, like, surely they're gonna have to release like if it's big celebratory stuff. Like, you're gonna get things like Shank's gonna make an appearance, Law will probably make an appearance, like that kind of stuff is definitely possible for big celebratory stuff. Like those are just like good selling, like they're very popular characters in One Piece itself. It's very, very easy for them to appear like that. But what do you think?
I mean, yeah, like Carissa's idea of Dragon would actually be kind of sick.
Dragon
Like if
makes sense as like an Odin Toki style, like that's what I think. I genuinely think Vegapunk's gonna release as an anniversary exclusive unit alongside the batch where it's like you had like Odin Toki was that kind of style. I can definitely see Vegapunk fulfilling that kind of role as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
We'll
I don't
see.
know. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what they have planned. It could go in like so many different directions.
I think because it's 10th Annie, they're going to do like surely they don't just thematically do it as Egghead and then they just release like some broken ass like Straw Hats, or they release like
you know what it is? I figured it out.
Here
You
we
know
go.
what it
All right,
is?
run the set.
It's just 10th anniversary.
Yep.
So it's the 10th Straw Hat. So it's Jimbei.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Jimbei will be our 10th anniversary legend.
Yeah, it's just that simple. I don't know how we didn't see it.
I mean, now that you say that though, the 10 Straw Hats, 10th anniversary, very plausible that we just get the 10 Straw Hats as legends.
Oh my god, you're so right. That's so like viable. I could definitely
like
see
I
them
could
doing
see that like being the case, and that's like covers like all the game modes and everything of the sort. I don't know. Maybe that's the case because like you know you have. I mean I don't want that, but like I think it's very possible that that's going to be the case.
100%. That is so viable. Yeah.
Guess we'll wait and see what happens. 10th anniversary coming very, very, very soon though. Like we said, the next Treasure Cruise episode will be us covering, I guess, all the release stuff for 10th Annie and that kind of regard. Hopefully there's content to play. That's all I care about. Not a fucking Blitz battle and Kazuna, and hopefully there's like some unique shit that kind of releases as well. I mean, we're going to get co-op quests, so I guess that's something else, something added there, but it's like, I want some like bespoke content made for 10th Annie too. I don't want to just the same stuff all the time.
Yeah, totally. Like, make it fresh. You would think that it's such a big celebration that they would want to go above and beyond to make
bring in new players, make old players, core players, like more excited, more enticed, like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. From everyone's favorite section to in other news, we had the April medal exchange. Look, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's fucking garbage. Like, don't bother at this point with the medal exchange. It's not good.
No.
We have V2 Hawkins and Black Maria at 600 medals, which is just fucking obscene. Nami Usopp, Pedron Ulti, V2 Kaido, Quick Kaido, Dex Kid, Quick Tesoro, Dex Rayleigh, Int Mihawk, and Strength Whitebeard are all at 400 medals a pop. Which is just so expensive. We actually had a lot of special characters added in, though. We had the two batches, 3 batches actually, of TM Sugofest characters that got added in. And then a bunch of the child / Sakura event units that came up that existed at some point. I bought like 9 of them because I didn't have them in my account because I was like, okay, I'll get them all. Why not?
Yeah, it's they're not. Nothing in this medal exchange is ultimately like a must-buy kind of character. These ones this time around are pretty mid.
Yep, I agree.
Very collector-focused units.
I agree.
I like that they added one unit. I think that is, I guess, kind of noteworthy is the side pudding that they added to their class.
Yeah.
That side pudding just does a lot of shit. She removes like resilience, rainbow shield, slot change, special bind. And she's a driven focus unit. So if you want to build a decent driven team, I mean, she's pretty worthwhile to pick up. I believe the class pickup units are here permanently though, so it's not like you're in a rush to get that.
Yeah, absolutely right. So they're here perpetually, you know, and then
right.
And I think this time around we got the Ink Effect pens were added in to the medal exchange for this month.
Yep.
gonna buy those.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't see a reason why they'd remove the posters to put the ink effect pens in. Like, you might as well just have everything there. I mean, you're charging like a fuck ton for those posters anyway, so like it doesn't matter regardless.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Yep, that's the Metal Exchange. And then the last thing in other news, was basically the announcement of 6+ Bonnie will be coming in the next Rumble season, which is
that's kind of sick.
It's cool, but it grinds my gears to some capacity, purely because, like, so what was the point of releasing the Bonnie with the Lilith?
Yeah,
that's what annoys me.
Kind of true.
It's like,
unless if this unit is going to type change, class change, maybe
that would be dope.
I would kind of get it.
I'd be down for that for sure.
But chances of that happening are pretty low,
pretty slim. But it's like, if you're just going to release, if you're going to 6+ this Bonnie to wearing the Egghead outfit, and it's going to be the same color and classes as the 100%. Bonnie that released, like, it kind of seems counterintuitive. Like, it's kind of a bit backwards there. And then I guess the last thing I want to bring up is a point that Godot made regarding Treasure Map. It's not really like that crazy. I mean, it kind of is. Like, there are only 6 1.35x boosters for this Treasure Map, which is kind of frustrating. 3 of them are quote-unquote free-to-play, which are the 6+ Island Crew and the 2 versions of X-Drake, so you can't actually use all 3 of them on the same team. And while the rest of them are the current rare recruits from the end of month, plus S-Shark, this is absurd, while the last month we had literally 13 units in this category. I mean, I don't know if it's done with malicious intent. It's probably done. My perspective on the whole situation is that for a long period of time, we've had a lot of 1.35x boosters, which in turn has made TM a lot more efficient or like faster to run to get to those thresholds. Reducing that amount of point boosters means people have to now spend more time in TM, and obviously the solution to spending less time in TM is pulling the new rare recruit, the TM batch, which kind of pushes people to the point where you can just essentially go pull for the new units, and then you can get your points faster. That's kind of my 2 cents on that situation there. It kind of sucks for a lot of people, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a weird situation where like they've made a lot of improvements to Treasure Map to make it faster to get to the point thresholds, but then they do stuff like this where it's like they're trying to rebalance how quickly people kind of get out of Treasure Map 2. So it's like 6 of one, half a dozen the other type beat. But I mean, that's Bandai, I suppose.
that is Bandai.
That's Bandai
doing Bandai things.
Exactly right. So we just have to wait and see how we go going forward and go from there. But from in other news to the shout outs, well, hey, as per usual, thank you guys to have continued to support us financially or just via liking, subscribing, and all that kind of fun stuff. If you are new and you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you go do that. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you go hit the like button. And Todd, what are they commenting in the comment section down below?
They are commenting salt and pepper,
S&P down in the comment section if you made it this far. And if you want to support us financially, you can do so by hitting the join button. Plenty of different tiers. Get the episodes a little earlier than everyone else, and also priority questions. With that being said, I want to give a massive shout out to our GGP producer of Alexander Wisniewski, our perfect member of Bryan, Kisa, and McDermott, our great members of MyDrunkenMoneky and Cswins, and our good members of Ryoiin, Stump D, Gacha, Red Halo, Dr. E Recshin, Wankafella, Mike Schallo, Derry Jackson, and our new good member of Kiri Karasu. Thanks so much for supporting us on this GGP podcast.
Appreciate it, lads.
You. Thank you so much for the new member, Kiri Karasu. It does mean a lot to us. And from everyone's favorite section into the shoutouts, into everyone's actual favorite section, it is the Q&A.
The Q&A.
Let's go. If you've had any questions, make sure you send through to us via our Twitter at GGP Podcast or our YouTube community tab. First question comes in from M1K3Q6. They say, hey boys, hope everything's going great for you all. My question is, if you were to start saving from now till Annie, will we be okay?
You'll have a decent amount, but
you probably have like somewhere along.
Don't be hoping.
Yeah,
you'll guaranteed units.
You'll have something along the lines of 400 to 600 gems. That'd be my guess from just saving, and then probably you're looking towards a couple more 100 gems because anniversary generally they give out a lot of gems, and assuming it's 10th Annie, hopefully they're giving out a crap ton of gems this year, so we'll have to be patient with that part. But I mean, you'll have a decent chunk of gems. Yeah, like Todd said, nothing. You're not going to get anywhere close to, unfortunately, any sorts of guaranteed units. Yeah, exactly right. Next question from @Obsidian_Steed_. They ask, what era of gaming was your favorite? Did you have a you had to be there moment for gaming?
Ooh. I mean, there's been plenty of those moments, but I've never been like a huge gamer that plays like all the crazy hype games when they come out. But I know like Elden Ring on release was massive.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild on release was huge too. That was like that honestly changed the gaming industry when Breath of the Wild dropped. That was wild. Like that was big. Even the God of War remake when that came out a few years back, that was huge. But that's obviously just modern ones. I mean, Bloodborne, I guess, was kind of huge when it came out. I guess it kind of bubbled away for a while, but I guess like Dark Souls as well, like the FromSoft games just in general, whenever they come out, they're pretty big. Can't really think of too many crazy big ones, or like you had to be there moments for gaming.
I think for me, it's definitely like the kind of rise of indie games way back in like 2011, 2012.
That's a good call.
I think like there was a whole idea of like there was like the thing called like Indie Game the Movie, where they like interviewed like a bunch of like a bunch of people, like Edmund McMillan, the people that made Fez, the people that made Braid. Those are like very impactful games for indie game stuff, and that's when I really got into like that whole scene of like indie game things, like games like Thomas Was Alone, To the Moon, all those kinds of things. Like, you know, Binding of Isaac in 2012, and then you kind of moved into, you know, that's where like games like Dead Cells and Hades were all kind of like originated from this kind of stuff. So I think like that 2012 to like 2014 era of indie games was like probably my like, yeah, this is a sick time for games for sure.
And you've got like I guess some of the big E3 conferences back in the day were kind of wild. Like I remember when Cyberpunk got revealed and Keanu Reeves came out, that was huge.
That was crazy.
You know, like
it was a whole
memes
world
for days.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess community-based stuff. You got like Twitch Plays Pokemon when that first came out.
Oh shit, true.
And I guess like when Among Us was big, like I've literally never played a single game of Among Us, but you have to respect the fact that that game, when it dropped, it spread like wildfire. And I guess like Fortnite to an extent. I mean, Fortnite's still insanely popular to today's standards. So, but yeah, those big popular games when they're on those inclines up in popularity, like it's just like the thing that basically everyone in the gaming community kind of talks about. And when you're in there during that moment when the game is at its peak, is just, yeah, it's one of those cool feelings.
Like low-key COVID lockdown gaming was also like, I know it was a kind of a shit situation, but it was like low-key kind of hype as well, because it's just like, well, I got nothing else to do, you know? So
that's pretty legit, honestly.
I'm just gonna play a crap ton of games, you know. And that's where like you had the whole like a lot of party games started popping up, like people were like coming online that you hadn't seen in a while, like it was very much like that. So
how could I forget the Call of Duty days were kind of wild too.
Yeah, facts. Little Modern Warfare 2 action, sitting there just grinding in the lobby. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops.
Oh, Black Ops, yep.
Black Ops 2, 3, kind of wild. Yeah, the good old days.
Good old days. Now we play One Piece Treasure Cruise.
And now we play an anime gacha.
We're playing a phone game for the last 10 years. Jesus Christ. All right, next question from Alexander Wisniewski. What video/mobile game company would you like to make a One Piece game? MiHoYo. Done. Next question.
I was unironically going to say that. I was like, oh yeah, we could do MiHoYo.
It's true though. But, I mean,
the
money,
the amount of money that they have, they could just make the most insane game ever.
I'm not a Genshin fan. I'm not a fucking what's the other one called? Honkai Star Rail fan. I don't really. I've never played those games like at all. But like when I watch people play them, like it's a full story. It's a massive ass map. Like there's like secrets.
I wish I was into it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I watch people play it and they're like, oh, I'm doing the 2.1 update. I'm like, damn, bro. Treasure Cruise released the 13.4.1 update. What are they releasing? Oh yeah. Rumble units now cost 20. Like I was like, it's like these updates release and it's like a massive, like, I mean, even like Tower Fantasy. I think we played a crap ton of Tower Fantasy when it first dropped too. Like that was like super fun as well. Like those kinds of developers would be like legit dope. Or you know what? Here's the correct answer. Some fucking Chinese company that's releasing Dream Pointer and fucking Fighting Path. Get those guys to develop an actual One Piece game in non-China. That's what I think.
Yeah, the developers in China are super talented, but it's just they never release their games outside of China, which is a big issue.
I wonder if the other games actually licensed.
They are.
Oh, that's crazy then.
They are officially licensed games.
That's
which
crazy.
Is why it's even more frustrating. Yeah.
What's your 30-second synopsis on Dream Pointer?
It's 7 Deadly Sins, Grand Cross, but One Piece instead, and thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Nice, well done, congratulations.
That's kind of it's basically what it is.
I know you've been playing a little bit. You've been posting a few videos. What's your vibe like so far? Are you gonna keep playing it? Is it? What's the?
Yeah. For now, I'm gonna keep coasting along. Like I'm not gonna be spending any money on it or anything.
Yeah.
Just gonna be chilling with it, see how it goes. It's got an interesting base. There's like heaps to do at the start.
Yeah, for sure.
Leveling. I mean, whenever you play any new game, you've always got stuff to do. Leveling characters, getting through the content.
Yeah.
The thing about the game though, it's actually really difficult. Like you kind of coast your way through the story, but you get to there's like the main story of One Piece, everyone knows, and then when you get through certain chapters, it allows you to go back to some of the old chapters and do it in a slightly harder difficulty.
Okay, yeah.
Then when you do the second difficulty, you as you clear the chapters, you unlock materials that are required to level up your characters. So basically, you get a character from level 1 to level 5, and then every increment of 5, you need these certain materials to like unlock the next 5 levels.
Right.
So basically that's how they gate the power levels in the game, is you have to get through certain chapters to unlock the materials to awaken their next 5 levels. So it gets to a point where your characters are like underleveled to beat the content at hand. So you kind of have to like think smart and build the team correctly and use the right skills at the right time to make sure you can actually get through the content.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is challenging for sure, but there's a pretty good base there. There's a guild system already in place. There's PvP in place already. So
yeah,
it's got a good foundation. The animations when you play the story mode, like they rebuilt a lot of the One Piece story in like 3D CG animation, and it looks really good.
Okay.
So they've put a lot of effort into it. I believe it's been in development for like 2 to 3 years. So they've invested a lot to make this game big, and they've started pretty decently. So I hope it gets a global release because I think it kind of deserves it. So we'll see how it goes.
Fingers crossed, because it looks dope. I kind of want to play it, but I'm also like, I don't want to go through the setup process and do all that kind of stuff.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Dope. All right, next question from Frankie Irony. Which crossover character / series would you want OPTC to have a collab with?
Ooh. I mean, I would still love another Dokkan collab, to be fair.
I think we should just do a Dokkan collab.
I mean, look, they're both produced by the same company, so...
And at some point, the same producer as well. Like, you know, it's like...
Both owned by Toei.
Yep. Like, it makes sense, you know what I mean? Like...
That if anything could get done, that would be the easiest one to approve, I feel.
Yep.
And they're the two, like, biggest anime IPs, pretty much, so... I think that would be really cool. I mean, it's definitely would be more of a net positive for Treasure Cruise compared to Dokkan getting that kind of crossover, because Dokkan players probably don't give a shit about One Piece.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think for Treasure Cruise, that would be pretty sick. And I don't think they would ever release, like, you know, Dragon Ball characters as like summonable units. It'd probably, if they were to do it, it'd be probably similar to how they did it initially back in 2015 with like an event that you can play a boss, and that would be kind of it.
See,
I feel.
Imagine if they did like they brought back the Frieza thing, but like Frieza was the super boss for Kazuna or something like that.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
You know what I mean? Like that would be
Yeah.
dope as hell. Like you don't have to release Freezer as the recruitable unit, but like having like a different character be the boss that you're taking down would be kind of dope. I reckon. Like Loki, that'd be kind of hype. So.
And then like I don't know how they'd do it, but maybe like your ship is replaced for like Goku instead, and like Goku helps you in the fight. That'd be kind of sick.
Something like that, absolutely. I mean, like even like for example, like like Godot and friends, they did like the whole like April Fool's Day stuff
That was
like
pretty
this
funny,
year,
yeah.
which was like they had like the Luffy Ichigo Naruto legends of their story, like triple unit legend, and like full had like a breakdown of like their kits and stuff, which was really well put together, mind you.
Yeah.
Like even like obviously like this stuff would never happen, but like it would be kind of dope. It would still be really cool. But I mean, you know, we're just grasping at straws at the end of the day. It's never going to really happen. So, alas, it is. But I think Dokkan makes the most sense, you know, at the end of the day. So, I agree. Next one from Donkey69. They ask, I feel like Captain Action is such a cool mechanic that they should use more. It opens a lot of unique abilities that relate more to a character's power or personality. I think it would also help from every character either being a super class or super type. What do y'all think? I mean, Captain Action's dope. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
It's a really good mechanic, but the problem is losing the super class, super type generally will mean you're losing a lot of damage output, though. That's the downside of it. Like, obviously, Queen's Captain Action of going invisible and blah, blah, blah is really, really useful, but Queen then not having a super class or super type to, like, increase his damage output just makes him, like, not... he's still really good, but just not as good then.
Like, like if they're gonna add more captain actions to the game, they need to make them so busted for them to compete with super classes, super types, and even EX supers at this point.
Yeah,
the EX supers are so strong.
Yeah,
getting multiple classes and colors to become super versions is
look,
so valuable. Not only doing that, but then adding like an additional effect that can affect the whole team. Whereas captain actions, mostly from what we've seen with captain actions, is they usually only affect like just that one character. Aside from like Frankie, for example, which it kind of does affect the whole team. But you go like V1 Sanji, Sober Mars, Queen. These captain actions I think are really dope. I love the design of them, and I mean Sober Mars doesn't have a 6+ yet, so I'd love to see what they have in store with a character like that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting. I totally agree though. Like it does open up really cool things where they can add some unique personality to characters. But then you go like characters like Sugar, for example, where they added a lot of unique personalities to that character.
Absolutely.
That character didn't need a captain action.
Even things like Bon Clay, for example, right? Like that's a one of a kind unit and still arguably like a really, really strong unit because Bon Clay is always boosted on TM, right? You can always just chuck Bon Clay on a team for cooldown, changing colors and classes, like all that kind of stuff. So they definitely, when they want to, they can really be creative. I mean, look at Cross Guild, for example. Like, whilst that's not necessarily like maybe personality driven, but the fact that that unit has the ability to pop 3 unique variants of a special, like I think that's like in essence like a massive ode to like the creativity that they can definitely show. But I do agree. I think captain actions would be really dope, but they need to find a way to have captain actions, but also still keep the unit having like super class and type, which I don't think is possible from the way that the game is designed. All right, next question. Duopoly Ash. She asks, have you guys read/seen Undead Unluck? And if so, what do you think about it?
I have not, actually.
I've seen Undead Unluck. I haven't read it. I've seen it. I think it's a shonen. It's in Shonen Jump, or Weekly Shonen Jump.
I've seen the character before. Right.
I've seen the character. I think it's like really, really popular. Like it's becoming very, very popular.
I heard people said it was like, I don't know if it was true or not, but people said it was like kind of ecchi.
It is very ecchi, I believe.
Right.
Which fair enough. People fuck with that, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's shonen, so there's going to be some sort of battle manga regardless. So it feels like it has to be. So,
okay.
I don't know. Let us know, Duopoly Ash, in the comment section or on Twitter. Should we read it? Who knows? Or anyone, I suppose, that has read it. What are your thoughts? Leave them down below as well. Next question from Border Sea Terrier. They ask, when could we get an Egghead Lucci and Gear 5 Luffy as units this year? And what do you want? And what would you want them to have in their kits? I mean, I think we already talked about the first part, but I mean, like, what would you expect like a Lucci? Would you want the Lucci to be like a, like kind of like a? I mean, I guess like Zoro is Captain Action, right?
Yes, that is. Yep.
Like Enma Zoro, sorry. Like, would you want like a Lucci to kind of follow suit, or like a maybe like even like a V2 Gear 4 style, where it's like you have like the hybrid form, you have like the actual leopard form, you have the base form. Like, would you want a Lucci like that, or how would you want Lucci or to be designed? I suppose.
Well, I feel like at this point Lucci won't be a like limited legend. I think he'll be a generic legend. So
Right,
I don't expect them to go too crazy balls to the wall about it. So if we're thinking just generically, I don't think they're gonna go super unique status with him. I think he's just gonna be a pretty generic, kind of boringish legend.
Yeah.
But if they end up making him like a Super Sugo, then I could see them doing some crazy shenanigans like that, where maybe he's got a gauge that can fill up, and then he could become the awakened beast form, and then he could do some crazy shit, like kind of like what Zoro does, where he unsheaths Enma and stuff like that. That would be pretty sick. I would love to see something like that, but I just don't see Lucci at this point being a restricted legend. Considering what is to come, I think that they probably could leave Lucci. But I don't know. We could be wrong. We could be wrong.
I mean, it's very, very true, right? Very, very true indeed. So
yeah,
I think.
But I'm excited to see Leopard Lucci because we haven't had Lucci as a legend in a long time. So
that's very true. So
I am
some hybrid.
I'm very excited to see what they have in store. I'm very, very excited.
Do a Sentomaro legend and a Lucci legend. There you go.
They could definitely do. They could do Sento. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like a Gear 5 Luffy is just going to be a Gear 5 Luffy, right? Just make him broken, free spirit, like make it broken, like that's it. They don't really need to do much for Luffy. Like they could probably get creative if they really wanted to, but like in reality, they don't necessarily need to. So like it's in that weird balance for sure.
That's the thing. Is like how many Gear 5 legends are we gonna get at this point now?
A fuck ton.
Oh man,
we're gonna get a lot. I think is the thing. But I mean, I agree with Todd. I think that Lucci at this point, I agree with Todd. Yeah, I think that Lucci will definitely be an end of month legend or like a game mode legend at some point. But I mean, I think it's if they don't go down the route of doing like a whoa, here's a big celebration for 10th anniversary with unique like log Luffy style characters, then I could see them just releasing a Gear 5 Luffy egghead form for 10th anniversary for sure. All right, next question. At cheesecake for breakfast, yum. Would you rather watch 24 hours of Skibidi Toilet or 24 hours of Coco Melon? I'd rather kill myself. Next question.
I think I might be showing my age a little bit there because I have literally no idea what either of those things are.
I think Coco Melon is like, it's like a kids, the children's YouTube channel stuff. I think Skibidi Toilet was like made in like, what's it called, like Source Engine, like the whole like Half-Life kind of stuff.
Oh,
was made in
Gary's
Source,
mod.
Yeah, like a Gmod style like Source Engine like film editors or whatever it was.
Okay.
And it like became popular, like became popular very recently. So I'd rather watch neither of them, as a matter of fact, is my answer.
Yeah, they both look kind of cancer, to be honest.
Facts. I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. Next question from Monkey Indo. They ask, what are some new mangas or anime that you think will become popular going forward?
Oh, I have.
What have you been watching, Todd? What have you been watching?
I have been diving into the world of solo leveling.
How are you feeling about it? A bit of solo leveling.
So, I was like at that point because I saw that there was a new game out, and people say, "Oh, you should play the new game. It looks really fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I don't even know. I haven't seen shit about this show." So I saw that the anime was out, and like I think they just released another episode today. But I pretty much caught up with the anime, and yeah, it's actually kind of gas, to be honest. It's pretty sick. And I'm not a fan of these type of animes that are like
power fantasy. I'm big dick.
Yeah, I've got a guild. We got to go raiding. Blah blah blah. But this one's like a little different. It's kind of built different. Like it's based in the real world. It's not like like you know like an isekai. It's not an isekai per se. It's still based in the real world, but It's so fascinating, and the lore behind it is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, just what makes it interesting is like in this world, these people have awakened magic powers, and these people that have these magic powers, they are graded from like S rank to E rank based on how good they are.
Mm.
And once you have your magic power set, it is you can't increase it or decrease it. Like you are always that rank. You can't do
Right.
anything to
Okay.
increase it.
Yeah.
And then this E rank dude, through trials and tribulations, like double awakened is what they call it. You awaken to get magic powers, and this guy double awakened, which is a thing that
Damn.
can happen.
Yeah. Okay.
And he then gains the ability to actually not only just increase his level, but it's like basically limitless upgrading, and he just becomes super OP. And it's kind of like a game. It makes it into like a game. He becomes like a. It's so hard to explain without sounding like a complete idiot, but
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's
I agree.
gas. Trust me. It's like it's peak shonen, honestly. And after I watched all of the anime, I'm reading a lot of the manga, and yeah, dude, I can't wait to see more of these episodes. It's complete gas.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think for
It is
me,
good.
I've been reading a fuck ton of manga recently. I don't know why. I feel like just manga has just become like so much more consumable for me as opposed to like sitting and watching anime. Like it's just so much easier just to read manga.
It's a lot faster to get through the
You
content,
can
that's for
grind
sure.
it. Like for example, I've almost caught up on JJK manga. I think I'm like 70 chapters behind now.
Nice, yeah.
And
Good
that's
shit.
I don't know if I'm dumb, but it's so confusing. There's so much going on like all the time, but like it's been really good to like catch up on that because that's just been really really gas.
Well, Carissa and I actually caught up all recently on the anime itself because we hadn't even watched like the what do you call it? What was the recent arc? The Shibuya arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recently caught up on all that. That was
So
amazingly done in the anime.
I read the Shibuya arc, and it was so
Yeah.
confusing. It's like this guy, but he's actually this guy, and then he's actually a brain, and then like Gojo's sealed, but he's like Bing chilling in the sealed realm, and we gotta like do. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening, man? Like Mahito, like he got consumed, and then fucking this happened, and you're like, what the fuck? And so many damn characters, too many damn names to remember, but like,
Yeah.
it's been really good. I've been very impressed so far with that. I think other things like, I mean, more along to the stuff that I'm currently reading, Akane Banashi, which is like a shonen manga about like this girl that does like this like performance art stuff, like where they tell stories and stuff like that. I think that's really really popular. A thing called Blue Box or Ao Hako. It's like a high school like sports manga, which I think is really really good. I think it's getting anime coming up soon. Where is the other one? I really want this one called like Hideyasumi, which is just a very just like lighthearted, just like day-to-day slice of life one. That's awesome. You've probably seen this one from a lot of the memes. Kagurabachi, which is like the samurai powerful swords, fucking shonen, not shonen manga, but basically shonen battle manga type beat. There's a lot of memes, but I think it's being officially serialized now, which is really really good. Kaoru Hana wa Rin Tosaku is probably my favorite love story of all time now, bar none. I think it's incredible. And then there was one that I wanted to point out. I mean, I've made mention of it on Twitter, but Sakamoto Days is the most goated story I've ever read. Like, you know, bar One Piece, obviously. But like Sakamoto Days is so fucking good.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that last time with
I think it was a night with Flame or whatever. Yeah. Like Sakamoto Days is so fucking good. Yeah. And like when it gets animated, it should. I mean, when it gets animated, I hope they do it justice because like it is such an incredibly good story in its entirety. And there's a lot of like other small stuff like smoking in the back of the convenience store, super popular, or getting really popular, kind of like slice of life one. Was Skip and Loafer. They had the first season of that, but also really, really good. And then it's like You and I, Polar Opposites, has won like numerous awards for manga, but like again, really, really good like slice of life type beat. That's it. Otherwise, I recently watched. I'm currently watching an anime called The Apothecary Diaries, and I'm sure if Flame was here, he'd be like, "Oh, let's fucking go, let's go!" But like, that has like a really, really high rating on Mal, and I really do see why, because it's genuinely just a really good story. Just an awesome just little story going on there. But Yeah, I think it's been good. I've been getting back into manga and anime recently. I don't know why. Just a sudden surge in me. I was like, okay, I should just, instead of just like using my time like watching random YouTube videos I've watched for the 40th time, like I might as well just consume something new, something that I haven't consumed before, and kind of just go from there.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I've been approaching it going forward. Easy. All right, next question. Oh, next paragraph, I suppose, from Dingle Ding Dong. They ask, hey there, GGP crew. Hope the last 2 weeks have been great for you all. Spring is slowly coming, and personally, I like this season most because it's getting warmer and less grey, at least in Germany. Lol. What's your favorite season of the year? What's your favorite season of the year, Todd?
Winter.
I love winter and autumn. I think winter's dope. I'm a winter fan.
Yeah,
as well.
autumn is also kind of underrated. I agree.
I like the cold.
I hate
like
hot
rugging
weather.
up. I hate hot weather too.
Yeah.
Big guys. Fuck the hot weather, man. Let me rug up.
Yeah,
It's much better.
That shit sucks. Like, there's positives and negatives.
Of course,
to both,
for sure, absolutely.
But
right.
I think then again, being in Cleveland now with the winter, it's actually pretty rough because the snow is disgusting.
True.
So,
very, very true.
but like winter in Australia is really nice, actually.
Yeah, exactly right.
It doesn't usually get like super duper cold a lot of the time. Yeah. It's just like kind of pleasant.
Yeah, exactly right. I agree.
Yeah.
However, not only spring coming up, but 10th anniversary too. Regarding this, I have 2 brand new questions for you guys, game-related questions. Looking back at the last couple of years, anniversaries has always been the time OPTC introduces new power-up systems or general upgrades to characters. What do you think? Another new feature could potentially be? My thoughts: adding a faction system similar to the One Piece card game. So I guess like tags in Dokkan, which buffs or debuffs characters of the same factions. I think that's a good concept, but with 4,000 units to update, I don't think they're going to do
effort.
that.
They might just do it similar to how they do it in the past when new stuff comes out, where they're like, every month we get like a new batch.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I agree.
That would be so cool if they did like a tag system, because it would open up so many different options for them to do characters in the future. Like, oh, okay, we need to do here's a new Akainu who buffs marine characters, instead of just like, oh, I buff Driven and Powerhouse, blah blah blah. It's just, okay, we buff marine characters, and you got to use a full marine team with him, and then you could like run some interesting super tandems that would actually work well with your team, because they're all marine characters, typically marines. If they're going to be using a super tandem, they're probably going to be super tandeming with other marine characters, like for example, right? So I think that would be really cool. And I guess like another thing is something like every year it gets brought up, but like a hockey system of some kind. People always say that.
Has to be, right? Like at some point, surely at some point, like we get a hockey system or something like that. Like even like small things, like we've had that Pirate Alliance level thing looming over our alliance for so long, and it's just never been used. So like, I don't know what
good point
they're trying to do there, but like maybe it's
I would be so bored. I'd be so bored if they end up doing like, oh, here's our new update, and we're going to introduce a new potential ability. So we got Rush, we got Tandem, Final Tap, and a new one. Like that would be kind of boring.
The sad reality is that that's most likely going to be the case. Yeah. I mean, yeah, tag system sounds great. I think I guess like if it was a tag system, I wouldn't want that to be like the crux of everything. I would want it to be like an additional benefit. Like if you run 6 Marines on a crew, like for example, like the way that like Bounty Rush does the tagging system is like it's based on like levels. So like if your character's level like 100, it adds 100 to like that tag, and then at like let's say 100, 200, 300 total level, you get like certain buffs to like your units, and the tag buff might be like plus 10, 20 or 30% HP plus this and that. It's like if they did a tagging system like that, where it's like if you run 6 Marines, kind of like sockets but for tags instead. If you run 6 Marines, you might get like an increase in attack. If you run 5 Marines, you get a small increase in attack type thing. I think would be a really cool way to build teams out, and like, oh, maybe you look at what tags you have, and maybe you run like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, type thing. So
that's pretty cool, actually. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Personal question. Question 2: which character that hasn't got a legend yet would you like to see introduced to the game? Can you think of a unique captain abilities which would fit that specific character? For example, Legend Axan Morgan boosts own attack by X. Boost character attack with a cost of 40 or less, and Marine faction characters by XX if they have both. Inflicts 5 turns of fear to the crew at the beginning of the quest, but boosts crew's base attack by 100 at the end of each turn up to 1000. If Helmeppo is on the crew, reduces crew's hunger duration by 5 turns. If Zoro is on the crew, reduces crew's bind duration by 5 turns. I mean, that's a really cool kind of concept, I suppose, to kind of have characters be more story driven. I'm sure our best friend Atsu would be rearing at that one. But I don't know, like in terms of like unique characters, like a lot of units have legends now, but I think like the issue is that like because the game is so focused on like releasing what's in the manga, it makes it not in the manga, in the anime, it makes it challenging to then have these opportunities to release like very unique characters. Like I mean, like this Fearsome Foes batch, I suppose was the opportunity to do so, but it just wasn't the case, right? Like it didn't come to fruition as much as we wanted it to. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any kind of unique character that you'd want to see as a legend that hasn't got one yet?
I mean, Dragon.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that's kind of like that. That's kind of like the gas one.
That's like the Roger of like right now. We were waiting for Roger for so long, and we finally got it. And I mean, Roger's dope as hell. But
based.
Now it's like, now we're just waiting for that next big one. And yeah, Dragon. I mean, he's been in the series for a long time, and we're don't have him yet. I mean, again, we don't. He really hasn't been in the series yet, so exactly I guess kind of makes sense why we don't have him. But
surely sometime soon, though.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, we have a lot of legends. I mean, I would still like them to go back to Skypiea and potentially do like Wiper or Kalgara Nolan as a legend would be kind of sick.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good shot. I think like going back to old arcs and making legends out of like characters that aren't as prolific in those arcs is a cool idea. Like even going back to things like Marineford and I mean unironically releasing like a Legend Jozu or like a Legend Vista or like you know
shout out to the Legend Jozu. Let's go.
Like doing that kind of stuff I think is dope. So like I mean why the hell not, right? I'm sorry for the very text heavy question this time, but really looking forward to hear your thoughts and suggestions. As always, thank you for your work. Looking forward to hear you guys from Jerry Kiri. Thank you, Kiri, for the question and also for supporting us.
Thank you.
Via the membership. We appreciate that. Wankafella. Penultimate question, Wankafella. Hey guys, apologies for not writing in the past few weeks. Life has been hectic and I am now in the midst of a divorce. I hope none of you guys have to go through one. Listening to you guys is always a good distraction away from life's problems. How do you guys get away from stress or deal with stressful situations? Well, first and foremost, that fucking sucks. And I am genuinely very sorry that you are going through something like that. Yeah, that's awful, man. That sounds horrific. How do you deal with stressful situations, Todd?
Music's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I go for a walk, chuck on some music. Gives me time to like process what's going on and kind of figure out like, is this something that I can deal with now? If the answer is yes, then it's like, okay, then deal with it. If it's not, then it's like, all right, so then kind of process from there. Be like, all right, what can I do to mitigate this going forward, etc., etc. But I think I agree. Music for me is a big thing, and then going for a walk is a very good de-stressor in stressful times. Especially like at work, for sure, doing that.
Video games can help too, just taking your mind off things.
Some sort of media, an anime, a TV show, a Netflix show, a movie, like some sort of media, a book potentially, like even that too, like some sort of
hanging out with friends.
Mm-hmm. Doing something a bit different, going for a little like weekend away, just go for a drive, like those kinds of factors where it's like you have your mind's capacities primarily based on one thing that you're doing, so you don't have the opportunity to kind of like let it wander too much into those stressful kind of situations. On the OPTC side of things, I want to thank Toadski because my son learned how to count from 1 to 10 watching your pool videos. Oh. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Massive.
And he loves watching those videos of yours. He even knows a red poster is special too. You might have an untapped market on your hands. I look forward to your videos come Annie in May. What do you guys anticipate will be the Annie Legends? We had a bit of a chat about that earlier, but
yeah, mate, gamble responsibly.
Yeah. Get the disclaimer out there pronto.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope. That's fucking awesome, man. That's sick. Good on Good on the kid.
Yeah,
Good on your son.
we're sorry
dude.
to hear about your bad situation.
Absolutely, but
yeah,
that's awesome though. That's a very cool little thing there. Very wholesome. Absolutely. All the best. You know, we hope nothing but the best for you guys, and hopefully things can be dealt with as fast as possible and as painless as possible, and you're able to move on. I mean, I kind of feel like shit speaking about it, but it's like I just hope you're able to move on and find somebody else in your life, or just take the time to look after yourself and look after your own little family, and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, from one sad question to another, which is kind of disappointing. From Cody, as always, Cody from Canada. Hey fellas, I just wanted to write in to say how truly blessed I have been to have gotten to know you all over the years, enjoying listening to the pod. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. I love you all, but I don't find I have enough time to write in and listen as I used to. Hopefully someday I'll be able to again, but wanted to let you all know that you've created such a wonderful show and have each grown so much over the years I've been listening to you. I couldn't be more proud of each of you. I wish each of you nothing but the best in all your ventures. See you later, Space Cowboys. Much love, your boy forever and always, Cody in Canada. Damn, two sad little points to end the show off with there. But Cody, mate,
that's sad.
I don't know why we latched on to the peanut butter burger thing, but I mean, I'm very glad that we did. You know what I mean? I think it's always been a very wholesome thing to have your question. We've made a conscious effort to always have your question be the last one, no matter what is written there
always
in the show, because I think everyone always looks forward to the Cody in Canada section, your life updates. You know, when your child was born, when you're getting married, when you bought a business, like. All those things have resonated with us for a very long time, and we are endlessly appreciative of your support on the show, but also your support financially as well. Like, I know that goes without saying. Like, all the people that support us financially, like, we just put the best show out we can, and whilst, like, maybe the numbers don't necessarily reflect the quality of the show, I think that we still value our time recording the show every fortnight, and we've enjoying it as much as we possibly can. And we're glad that, you know, we're building a very tight-knit community of people that will come and support us every episode. And Cody, you've been one of those people every single time. So we value all that, and look after yourself and look after your family. And that's all. That's it. Happy days. Yeah. Or sad days, I suppose.
We appreciate it. We appreciate your support, Cody. It's been awesome. And yeah, we get it. You know, life gets a hold of you sometimes.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate all the support that you've given over the years. And yeah, we'll always appreciate it. If you ever come back and want to shoot us a question, we'll be open for it, man.
You know, like the amount of times I go to, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, should I ask the guys, like, do you guys want to end GGP this year? Like, the amount of times I think about that, and then you get like responses where people are like, oh, I appreciate the show, and you're like, damn, maybe we can't end the show. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, definitely one of those grab bags for sure. But like, I mean, you guys have seen it this year in terms of the show, right? Like, life's been pretty hectic. We've dropped a couple episodes. Not everyone's been available all the time as well. Like, things kind of just like happen, I suppose. Like, for example, like next weekend, I'm away all weekend too. So it's like, we have to figure out how we approach things again and like that kind of stuff. So it's definitely like, we definitely feel it on our end for sure. And we're appreciative that everyone continues to say and support us in all capacities and facets. But I guess on those two bombshells, if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go down there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment salt and pepper, comment thanks Cody as well while you're down there too. Thanks Cody, you know, for everything he's done. Appreciate that one. While you're also there, hit the description linkt.ee/sugarpod for all of our social media platforms, our Twitter at GGP Podcasts, Anchor.fm/sugarpod, which I think that link is changing. I don't know. It might work or not. Who knows? But you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, to name a few. Go in the description. You can find our special links there. You can find Toski's stuff down there. If you're not subscribed to him yet, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you go down and do that. I'm sure you are already. 10 Annie stuff's coming up, so a lot of videos coming from Todd for sure. And then you go down there. I'm also there as well. Go follow, like, sub, all that kind of fun stuff too. Especially, obviously, of course, Flame and Knights content there as well. Make sure you go hit them up on that stuff too. But that's it. We will see you guys next week for a non-Treasure Cruise ep. And then obviously in the following ep, I believe will be episode 114. Will be the 10th Annie episode. So we look forward to that in a month's time. But with that being said, I've been Captain Papi. We've had Toski as well. We'll chat to you guys next time. Peace.
Goodbye.